This is Wuhan, my hometown. It's a city in central China and it covers more than 8,000 square kilometers. It's a historical city. Hey, let's don't go through those boring numbers and wording stuff. Let me just ask you one simple question. What else do you know about Wuhan apart from those COVID-related stuff? You know, after COVID, people keep telling me that, oh, your hometown has become so famous, how do you feel about it? And I would normally disagree with it, because it's just known because of the thing. But that's it. And even now you search for it, it's still strongly connected to those keywords like COVID, lab, virus, or even bat, which we don't even eat. But it's still a city where so many people live their average life. And of course, as someone born and raised here, I have so many things to say about it, but I might be totally biased here, right? So what if we hear from some foreigners who live in Wuhan, what a place Wuhan is to them? Let's go find it out. Last month, in February 2023, 3 years after the COVID outbreak hit the city, and 900 days after I moved abroad, I finally got the chance to visit home. In the meanwhile, I managed to interview 3 British people who live in Wuhan, and let's see what they have to say about the city.
Yeah. We work in English kindergarten, next door.
International kindergarten.
Yeah.
Damn, British people.
Yeah.
They're the richest kids I've ever seen.
Yeah, I taught business research methodologies and statistics and corporate social responsibility. I think the people are really friendly and everything. I think I out of Shanghai, Nanjing and Wuhan, I like Wuhan the most.
Oh, and the breakfast is the best. Is the best breakfast in China. It's the most important thing.
I don't like it, it's too hot. But Wuhan food is not too hot.
If you travel around a lot of China, one city kind of blends a little bit into another. I would say here that there's more to do. Like you have Yellow Crane Tower, East Lake, and these sort of attractions. There are more of them in Wuhan than other cities I've seen.
One reason why I actually moved from Chongqing to Wuhan was I thought it'd be a bit more international. Because Chongqing, for the size of the city, there's not really many foreigners there. And it's not just about foreigners, there's less people speak English and it's a little bit more. There's a WeChat group. There's about 250 people in it. When I've been to a few social events, it seems there's a lot of British people living in there. But the British expat group doesn't really seem to have any kind of organisation where they do events or things like that. The group is mainly asking questions related to life in China, like things to do with visas or things to do with international flights home. There's not really much going on.
I found foreigners in China. They're in one of 2 camps, basically. They tend to be in different cities and they tend to keep to themselves, their own little communities, because you always have this difference. You have the people here who miss home and hate everything about it but still stay, and then those who love it and want to be away from the sort of complainers.
But interestingly, Kathleen mentioned that she formed a group of people, including foreigners, spouses of foreigners, and also people who have been abroad but still want to be included in the expat community in Wuhan. And they actually did something quite nice and interesting. Let's hear about it.
I formed a group because there was originally this thing, Women of Wuhan, and that would be expat white trailing spouses. People sometimes felt that they, didn't fit. These maybe women would arrive with a driver, and things like that. And I think the demographic has changed because there are now a lot of people here work here. There's a lot of women who are working in schools or something, and you do get some trailing spouses where, they just come here because their husband has got a contract here. But the majority of the people will be working. And also there's men, they've got Chinese wives. I think they also should be included because this was a bit exclusive, and I said, no, you can't have that, I don't like it. I want it to be more inclusive. Different nationalities, men, women, whatever. So we changed it to People of Wuhan and made a group, and we do different things. So we do breakfast, after work drinks, brunches. Different people come to different things. And also put things on cultural things, if there's like that classical music concert, and so people can go to things like that as well. Yeah.
I don't miss anything about the UK at all. Nothing.
It's probably the air quality, to be honest. Because right now in Wuhan, in the winter, to be quite honest, it's absolutely shit. There's nowhere window dressing it.
Actually, one thing I do miss is the difference in the business culture. I can be more straightforward in England. I don't have to worry about the other person's face or my face or talk in like a circle to avoid offending me. I don't have any of this. I can just say it. I do miss that.
I miss the seasons because it changes so fast. It goes, I got a hat, gloves, scarf on, and then it's sort of like 2 weeks later, I'm kind of like walking around in sleeveless.
That's exactly what's happening now.
yeah, exactly. And I miss the build up as it warms up, and then the flowers come out and everything turns green, and in the autumn when things start closing down and you get a different kind of sun. The sun gets bigger and more dominant in the sky. You've got all these things happening. I miss that.
I guess back in England, I'm a very kind of liberal person, and China, I still come here with like negative preconceptions. Actually, when I live in China for a long time, well, even just after a few months in Chongqing, the people, to me personally, in my experience, people were so friendly, helpful, and really helped me settle into the city, and I really loved it. And in England, you hardly get any of this coverage, China positively. Everything is entirely negative. So it's not to say that negative things here don't exist. They do. There's a lot of things I don't like about China as well, but it's totally changed my perception on how the media report things to us, and I keep a more sceptical eye on news coverage of different things now than I did before. So it's changed my outlook a lot.
I'll put up with stress a lot better here than I will back home. I find these Chinese people, they don't show that they worry about things they can't control so much. They tend to just get on with it. Instead of sitting there moaning and whinging. I still do that, but I moan and whinge a lot less here than I did back home. I just get on with things, and I'm willing to work a lot harder as well. I grew up a bit, I think, because here it's not like if you get really sick, or let's say you run out of money because you spend it all, that's it. You're screwed. It's not in the Western country. We can get the government to give us benefits and stuff. Here, you don't have any money, you're done.
Get on with it.
So it makes you very spend your money more wisely, more responsible. It forced me to grow up a little bit. It was such a huge thing that had so much international attention and affected so many people's lives that I don't know what you would do, to be honest. What could you do? You have any ideas?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever try and change people's perceptions, especially, well, not from most people in the West. Most people who don't really know much about China view it scarily or negatively. Yeah, even when I went home recently, when you're saying you live in Wuhan, you just get asked about the virus. They're only interested in the virus, so I don't really focus too much on trying to change their perception, because I think a lot of these people, they have their mind already made up how they're going to view it. Obviously, there is a lot more to Wuhan as a very important, famous historical city. There's British colonialism in this city with the leftovers, and not many people know that. But being realistic, it's going to be quite hard for them to shake off that stigma. I think for the average person back home, no matter what you say about China, if it's something vaguely positive, I think you're lying or you're paid propaganda. Yeah, with people back home, I don't try and change their perception anymore. I just post my photos, do my thing.
Even it can be very hard, but Kathleen pointed out that there might be something we can still do to at least help the situation for a bit. I have seen some sort of promotion from very official channels, drone shot buildings and stuff, and maybe but I don't think those things are very influential.
No,
people don't care about those things, I think.
No, they don't. Basically, it's a propaganda exercise, of how well we're doing.
Indeed.
But actually, it's not the most interesting thing. It could be, I don't know, I just say like the old ladies dancing in the park, that might be something that, the different aspects of the city, kind of some of the things that I would put on it, I probably would offend them, we don't want to show that side of our, but that's the interesting bit, and what makes you think, but, it shows that we're not, people that are not got a lot of money or something on that, we don't want people to look at that. I can go into any city in the UK and also show that and say, well, this is the city. This is different aspects of the same city, and they're all there together. We can't just show one side of it, And I think the promotion things, they will tend to do that.
I would say come with an open mind. I think most people, well, I'd say the majority of people like living here in some shape or form, otherwise they wouldn't be here. It's a fun place to be. As Adam always says, life is never boring here. I don't think China's suited for everyone, but when I walk around a busy city and I see dancing eyes in the square, I see hundreds of different restaurants selling different stuff. I love that. I love the ability that you can go out after 7 o'clock when it's dark and there's still things going on.
So if you're going to come to China for the first time, this is a good city to come to. Don't go to a small city in the middle of nowhere if you don't understand anything about China. You'll have a very hard time. This is a good place to start. My advice, if you're coming to China, you are not coming to a Western country. Accept that before you get here. Don't come to another country and then complain that it's not like back home. You might as well stay where you are. Accept that you are in a different culture. They have different rules and different ways of doing things. I, to be honest, need to take my own advice when it comes to that. You are not in a Western country, so don't complain when things aren't running the way you're familiar with. That's what I would say.
I think you should just go out and discover the city, and don't just kind of like go out looking for things that you're familiar with and just try to repeat a pattern, you know, that you have from home. I mean, apart from if you're looking for bread, you know, I don't mind you doing that. Just go and discover the different things and the new things and enjoy the things that are around you, that are available for you. And try and learn a bit of Chinese. Not very good at me saying that because mine's absolute shit. But you know, I have tried and failed. And don't blame yourself. And I picked myself up and tried again and failed. I failed many times.
So that's everything for this interview. There was so much content that was interesting for me to put in there, but due to the time constraint I couldn't, and also I couldn't make it into a podcast because the audio quality was so bad. But I really hope for you who followed until now got something at least that is interesting about Wuhan, and I hope it gave you a little bit positive impression about this city. Just like Callum and Adam said, like this negative impact might follow Wuhan for a really long time, and I'm not super sure how many people are gonna see this video, but yeah, you know, it's still something. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. Hit the like button, subscribe, stay tuned for next video because it's also gonna be about Wuhan. I'm gonna go through something about the local music industry in Wuhan, and I interviewed my friend who work in the industry as well. So see you next time. Ciao ciao.